Masteries have been a massive part of my content for a pretty long time. In fact, some of my first videos to ever perform well were masteries, and so I hold them very near and dear to my heart. But all of that is about to change. Brawl Stars recently announced that they were getting rid of masteries. Boom, poof, pow, Thanos snapped, Shadow Realm, smell you later, idiot. They're gonna be gone. And that's honestly kinda sad, because I had a lot more of them that I wanted to do. But it's not all bad news here, because along with masteries being removed, the developers announced the start of an event that would increase the amount of mastery points gained per win by a lot. And as long as we, as a community, continue to play the event, win games, and earn mastery points, we could unlock insane rewards and bonuses that would allow us to complete multiple masteries per day. But we're gonna start off where everyone starts off when they play Brawl Stars, and that is with Shelly. But right away, I lost the very first game that I played. Obviously, that's not great. But what is great is winning my next match and seeing exactly how many mastery points I got just for winning one game. 320 mastery points? Yeah, okay. All right, I'm here. I'm locked in now. I didn't have Shelly maxed here before, and that was disrespectful. But not having her mastery done is borderline a felony. She isn't exactly my favorite brawler to play, but she is a timeless classic. And there's just something electric about blasting the cranium off of anyone that dares to come too close to you while you have your super. That, and she plays really well into Kenji, who I'm hoping that by the time this video comes out has received a very drastic nerf, because oh my god, his hypercharge is insane. Anyway, getting 300 or 400 mastery points per win is a lot, don't get me wrong, but we still needed to win a ton of matches. So I'm skipping a lot of progress here, but long story long, I was able to finish Shelly and earn our very first mastery of the video, with many more to come. But first, it's sponsor time. The Red Magic Astra gaming tablet is a high performance gaming tablet that is just a beast, and for so many reasons. For example, and what I think is the most important feature, is the buttery smooth 165 hertz refresh rate on the screen. So no matter what you're doing on the tablet, everything is gonna look and feel amazing. On top of that, it's powered by the Snapdragon Elite 8 chip, it's got 16 gigabytes of RAM, and it's got over half a terabyte of storage available. That's a lot of storage if you didn't know. Not to mention, there's plenty of other features like its fast charging, the slick exterior with no camera bump, customizable buttons, and last but not least, the RGB lighting. Because what gamer doesn't love that? So if you guys want to check out Red Magic's new Astra gaming tablet, then hit the link in the description. And a huge thank you to Red Magic for sponsoring this video. Then I moved on to the next brawler, Nita. I already had her at Gold 1, which I would say is some decent progress. I love playing Nita. She's up there maybe even in my top 10 favorite brawlers in the entire game, hence why she's already at Gold 1. She's a great balanced pick, and I was having a ton of fun using Bruce to steamroll the competition, until I did the math wrong and realized that I was one game short of promotion. And to make matters even worse, this happened. Oh my god, you're not serious. You're not serious. Going into this mastery event, I don't really know what I expected. But if I'm only able to master one brawler per day, this challenge simply won't be possible. I needed the mastery bonus to scale up, and fast. Day 2 is here, and we are almost at 400% bonus. So hopefully my contributions today will make an impact on that, because I need that bonus bad. Picking up where I left off, I won one game and got Nita to Gold 2. A small boost to start the day, and that was great. After that, we really just coasted all the way to Gold 3, completing my second mastery of the video. Next in line was Colt. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't played Colt in a long time, and it took me quite a few games to shake the rust off. But after my warm-up, I was absolutely going nuclear, and no one could stand in my way. And on top of that, we swapped to Heist, where I was easily able to farm star player in most of the games we played because of the damage I was doing to the vault. Everything was going so smooth, but unfortunately, as we were coming down to the end of Colt's journey, I hit the mastery cap again and had to wait another day to finish. Only one brawler done and one close to being done, and that is a bummer. The mastery cap being so low is my biggest enemy right now. But as the event goes on and the bonus increases, so will the daily cap. However, day 3 had different plans. Oh, by the way, overnight here, I pushed my Finks and Lumi to like 500 trophies. They were so low, and it would have been a waste of time doing that later on. Anyway, on day 3, the event was so close to unlocking the 400% bonus, which would have been huge for progress, but we fell just shy of that. This is also where I started streaming my progress every day on Twitch. It was a lot of fun, so thank you to everyone hanging out in the chat. It made this experience so much better for me. No, it's been a great day. Seriously. Whether you guys are having a good or bad day, hopefully I can make your day a little bit better, or maybe a little bit worse, depending on who you are. I don't know. That's why there's a chat on screen and things look a little bit different. But anyway, I hopped on and finished the few games that I needed with Colt. And once I got that done, I was quickly on to the next brawler, Bull. He was already at Silver 2, so there should be plenty of room in the mastery cap for me to finish his journey today. However, taking a look at the maps, there wasn't many great options. Obviously, Open Zone wasn't going to be a good map, so we couldn't play that. We tried Brawl Ball, but man, I was getting destroyed left and right, and I was on the brink of crashing out. And so we finally tried Brawl Arena, which is a real staple for tanks to thrive. The wins were coming in fast, which was undeniably great. But after winning a few matches, something caught my eye. Well, okay, so the game is taking double as long and we get double as many trophies, but are we getting double the mastery points per win? Because if not, we should just switch because it's going to take way longer than it needs to. And so reluctantly, with our tails tucked between our legs, we scurried over to the only other available game mode, Gem Grab. It wasn't exactly ideal. However, this is where I began to soar to new heights. Or should I say charge? I was making great plays, diving into the backlines, taking down their gem carrier, and making it out with all of the gems. When it worked, it was peak dopamine, and it worked a lot. So all in all, Mastering Bull gets an A+ rating from me. Anyway, after that, I ended stream and finished out the mastery cap with Brock while I was laying in bed. I'm getting a lot of points per win, but it still requires a lot of time to hit the mastery cap every day. Way more than I expected. It's still like 5 hours minimum of playing. Regardless, hitting the cap has to be done. I got really lucky and had a glorious map for Brock, which was Safe Zone Heist. This mastery was done pretty quick. We won most of the matches we played, and I was already near Gold 2 when we started. So we got that done in no time and moved on to the next brawler, Primo. He wasn't gonna work in Safe Zone. I feel like that kind of goes without saying. And so we swapped over to Brawl Ball, where once again, I was making insane plays. There's just something about playing these OG brawlers. They've been in the game the longest, and over the last 7 years or so, I've spent a lot of time playing them. And so all of their mechanics kind of just come naturally to me. That and Primo is really solid in Brawl Ball. As long as you don't face direct counters like B, Surge, Shelly, I mean, the list goes on. I could really rattle about that forever. Kicking the ball forward, supering onto it, throwing opponents out of the way, using the throw defensively, his kit is truly so versatile, and we grinded all the way up to around 22,000 mastery points before I hit the cap. And after that, I ended for the day. This push greeted us with a nice little treat when I got on the game. I logged on the game to see that we, as a community, unlocked the 400% milestone. More mastery per game, more mastery for the cap. It's exactly what I needed. So to start the day, I got Primo's mastery fully done. And then once again, I got pretty lucky that the map for my next brawler, Barley, was insanely good. Triple Dribble Brawl Ball is an incredible map for throwers. And since Barley was already Gold 1, this was another quick push. But low key, like, I'm kind of cracked at Barley. He might be my second best brawler in the entire game. I don't know, multiple people in the chat were complimenting my gameplay, which normally doesn't ever happen. Maybe they're lying, but who knows. Anyway, after that, I was on to Poco, where once again, you can't make this up. Ring of Fire Hot Zone was out, which is easily one of his best maps. I won't always be this lucky with the map, so I do have to appreciate it while it's there. Normally, when I'm playing Poco, I just equip the healing gadget because it makes the most sense and it's really easy to use. However, this time I equipped his anti-gadget. I was curious as to what its limits were, and I'm happy to announce the findings of my research. It's kind of insane if you know how to use it. Any stun, slow, poison, freeze, burn, you can instantly break, or you can make yourself immune to all of those for a few seconds. I know that's what the gadget description says, but it really is amazing when you actually apply it in game. The sheer amount of brawler supers or gadgets or abilities in general that you can negate is unbelievable. It did take a lot longer to reach the cap though, because my Poco was only at 700 trophies, but by the end of it, I was near max tier, and that'll be a great spot to pick up tomorrow because I hit the mastery cap before finishing again. After ending stream, I began crunching the numbers, and unfortunately, my huge goal of mastering every single brawler in the game wasn't looking so good. The overall progress of the event has been slower than expected, and I also just need so many mastery points, like well over 1 million of them easily. And with the daily cap only being 30k with 10 days left in the event, then things were looking dismal. I hope I used that word correctly. But at the end of the day, all I can do is do my best. I started this journey and I have to see it through to the end. The next day when I woke up, I received great news again. When I got on the game, I saw that we as a community were super close to unlocking the 500% bonus. So that should be available to us tomorrow. It's not where we want to be, but it's definitely a step in the right direction towards getting the 1000% or even the 2000% bonus. The sooner we get that, the sooner that I will have hope for us to complete this challenge. But for now, to start off the day, I got Poco's mastery done, and once again, his gadget's insane. Then it was on to Rosa, and really, you just press the purple button, you press the yellow button, and you go vroom. And that's it. There isn't much any opponent can do to stop you. Rosa was probably the fastest mastery that I finished yet. But honestly, I was kind of sad that it was over so fast. One, because I was having fun, and two, because I have Jesse and Dynamite both mastered already, so then it was on to my arch nemesis, my most hated brawler in the game, or one of them at least, Tick. Thank the Brawl gods that I already had this monstrosity at Gold 1 because I didn't have to play him that long at all. I'm not sure what it is about playing him, it just isn't fun. Overall, there isn't any fun to be had. And so I'm skipping over this one quick. And then it was on to the next brawler, 8-Bit. He's actually a pretty difficult brawler to play. I didn't really realize that before I started. He's only good in a very limited amount of maps and game modes. However, my lucky map streak would continue here because one of his best maps was in rotation. It was Bridge Too Far Heist. I was on top of the world when I saw that because, like I said, there isn't many maps where he's actually playable. But unfortunately, after only winning a few games, I hit the mastery cap for the day and my push would have to wait until tomorrow. Everything just came crumbling down. Hopefully tomorrow still has some good maps for me because if not, this push might be worse than Tick. When I logged on day 6, I was super excited to see that we unlocked the 500% bonus as expected. And I was even happier when I checked the maps that were out and I saw Backyard Bowl Brawl Ball, a wide open paradise for 8-Bit to stand out. The games were going great. Progress was amazing. But this Virus 8-Bit skin, which is supposedly pretty rare, was really starting to get on my nerves. The custom voice lines are so unfathomably annoying, it's literally just all game. It drove me up the wall, but I was determined to show off the skin that I had paid an insane amount of money for. Eventually, I was done 8-Bit's mastery, and after suffering through that, I was treated by playing Rico, and this one was really easy. It's literally just and then I hit the mastery cap. With only 8 days left in the event, my dream of completing every mastery was starting to look more and more grim by the day. We, as a community, needed to unlock these bonuses way faster. For day 7, something happened that you really just can't make up at this point. I logged on to see that my luck with the good maps would resume. I had to push Rico, and Hot Potato Heist was out, which is amazing. A few wins here and a few wins there, and boom, Rico was done. And I just kept that momentum rolling forward. Get it? Because Daryl, and he rolls. Daryl rolls sometimes. But I had to play Daryl next, and he's actually really fun. Like really fun. We played a lot of Brawl Ball, and I was making so many good plays using his rolls, kicking the ball forward, and scoring goal after goal after goal. Doing that is really fun, and also rolling onto someone and then deleting them off of the map and then chaining the super together is also so much fun. But he's not just a beast in Brawl Ball. We swapped over to Heist where we were winning games in like 30 or 45 seconds. They see me rolling, they see me finishing Daryl's mastery, and I was on to the next brawler who really takes us all into uncharted territory with Penny. There's a ton of maps and modes that Penny can be good in, but her best right now is definitely in Brawl Arena. But a few days ago, I learned that the mastery points weren't doubled in Brawl Arena, and that would make things take forever. Or so I thought. Like I said, it had been a few days since I tried Brawl Arena, and the Brawl gods must have heard my prayers because they finally scaled the mastery points to match the time it takes to win the game mode, and I couldn't be more pumped up about it. Brawl Arena is such a fun game mode when you have a competent team. If not, I really don't even want to know what it's like. But with a team of organized savages, we can win games in 2 minutes and get 1,000 mastery points per win. Long story short, Brawl Arena can be just as fast as regular games, and you get double the mastery points now. So whether a brawler can be pushed in Brawl Arena or not is very important. It's also just the most fun mode for me. Anyway, it's amazing. It's everything I ever wanted in a game mode, and I played that until I hit the mastery cap for the day. Penny is a beast there. After logging on the next day, I was able to finish up Penny's mastery pretty quick. And somehow along the way, she actually became my highest trophy brawler at 1,300 total trophies. And with Penny complete, I got to work on my next brawler, the Lord of the Rocks, Carl. I actually just continued to play Brawl Arena the entire time because really, Carl is pretty good there. His range and his ability to hit through enemies makes him a huge threat, especially because he can hit the towers without ever being in range. Needless to say, winning wasn't an issue, but progress was just taking forever because he was so low in trophies. Eventually, I did get him to max tier, which is exactly where you want to be, and soon after that, I hit the mastery cap for the day. Learning from my mistakes, I decided to push up Jackie in advance just a little bit for a slight boost when I go to push her tomorrow. Now, if you notice, Carl is still gold 2, and let's just say that the next day was a little hectic. So hectic, in fact, that when I got on, I forgot to finish out Carl's mastery, and I got right to playing Jackie. In a few days, I do notice it, but I don't know how this one slipped through. So what went wrong? Why was the day so hectic? Well, when I woke up, I was ready to play, and I DM'd my teammates, and they would go on to reveal some interesting news. Basically, as a community, we were so close to reaching the life-saving 1,000% mastery bonus. And rumor has it, if I don't play a single match and I just wait, if we actually hit the new bonus, I'll be able to effectively double my progress for the day. Long story short, if I log on and play even one match, I'll be locked into the 500% bonus. But if I wait and we unlock the 1,000% bonus, then I start playing, then I will get the 1,000% bonus. But if I wait too long, I won't have enough time to even reach the cap before the day ends. I had a tough decision to make here, but ultimately I decided to wait, and I waited and waited and waited, and it got to be like 11 p.m. before I caved in and started playing. If I had waited any longer, I was going to be in jeopardy of not being able to hit the mastery cap for the day, and so I started with playing Jackie. This is where I forgot to finish Carl, but anyway, like the two brawlers before her, Jackie is really good in Brawl Arena. You kind of just patrol the middle of the map, and for some reason, no one, and I mean no one, ever checks the bushes. Every game we played, I would finish with an insane amount of kills. That, and she's really good at taking out the bots. Really, she's just a strong brawler for Brawl Arena. However, she was still quite low in trophies and low in mastery all the way down at bronze 2, so this one took me quite a long time. Eventually, I did get it done, but yeah, it took forever. I don't know. And after that, it was on to Gus, who isn't really an OG brawler at all, but he's right here, so why not do it? Unfortunately, I had to learn the hard way that Gus is indeed not a great Brawl Arena brawler. Like I mentioned before, if I can't play a brawler in Arena, it just takes forever to finish the progress for the day. So, reluctantly, I headed over to Brawl Ball, and that went much better, and I was actually able to make some really sick plays. But I will say this, Gus's hypercharge is pretty underwhelming. While Kenji's hypercharge literally makes him the best brawler I think I've ever seen, Gus's falls short in every way, shape, and form. I think that's just my gripe with hypercharges in general. Some are amazing, while others just suck. Anyway, rant over. Look at that, I hit the mastery cap. Woohoo! It also looks like tomorrow is finally going to be the day where we unlock the 1,000% mastery bonus, so let's just say tomorrow is going to be a productive one. However, contrary to what I just said, upon waking up, there was devastating news. We somehow still didn't reach the 1,000% bonus, and I was honestly a little confused. Like, how is that even possible? So again, I just had to wait until we hit it. After a bit of waiting, we managed to reach it, and so now it's finally time to see if my patience paid off, or if I waited both days for absolutely nothing. But after winning just one game, here's the results. 1,100 points is so goated. I was able to finish with Gus in just 2 wins and swiftly moved on to Bo. And Bo was a piece of cake. He's such a versatile brawler, you can really play him in a lot of different modes. He's really strong in Brawl Arena, and so we just slammed that over and over and over, and boom, another brawler done. You guys can see now why I wanted the 1,000% bonus so badly. Brawlers are getting done in the blink of an eye, and this is where the progress really starts to ramp up. That is kind of where the OG brawlers are done. Yeah, technically there's more OGs like Frank and Piper and Pam, but because I was now in a time crunch with only a few days left in the event, I had a really tough choice to make. Was I going to keep mastering these lower rarity brawlers, or should I swap over to do the legendaries who give way higher rewards? There's only a handful of days left in the event, and so I really wanted to make sure that I got the insane rewards for finishing the legendaries, and so now begins chapter 2, the legendary brawlers. First up is actually another OG brawler with Spike. Spike is just amazing to play, especially in a game mode like Brawl Arena where you can farm star player by popping your hypercharge, throwing a super with fertilizer onto a turret, and pressing the pin cushion gadget. It's GG. All of the extra mastery that comes from getting star players really started to add up, and Spike was done very fast. And after that, it was on to Crow. I have a sneaking suspicion that using his hypercharge when you're directly on top of one of the turrets is gonna be insane. And so I was pumped to try it out. Oh my god, I just did like 70%. Oh my god. I guess that was combined with the Chester, but you guys can see the potential here. Nah, that is crazy. I'm not gonna lie, Crow isn't that good at Brawl Arena, but he's fun to play. And that's because of the way that you have to play it if you want to be successful. You gotta be picky with your matchups and who you're selecting to jump on to try and assassinate. It's all of that and then how you position yourself. He is really bad at killing the bots, but overall, if you can get a couple of assassinations in, you're gonna be fine. And so because of that, I quickly hit the mastery cap for the day. And after I was done, I continued to push a little bit of trophies on a few of the legendary brawlers so that my progress tomorrow can be even faster. So the next day I got on, I finished Crow's mastery in just a few games, and then it was on to Leon. Now the thing that's important to note here is that Leon sucks so bad at Brawl Arena. You basically can't even go invisible at all because of the bots. In every lane, they can all detect you. And on top of that, you can't sneak up on people when they're hiding near a tower either. And so after trying Brawl Arena for a while, we swapped over to Brawl Ball. We won like 20 something games in a row, and that was just way better. When you're not in Brawl Arena, Leon is a great brawler. And so I got his mastery done pretty quick. And after that, I moved on to Sandy, who for all intents and purposes should be really bad at Brawl Arena. But for some reason, it just works. He can't really even use a super to ever sneak up on anyone because of the same reasons that Leon can never sneak up on anyone. But it's just really nice having the Rude Sand star power equipped. It's nice for the same reasons that Janet's boombox gadget is nice. And that's because the entire area will just deny people from healing. If I throw my super towards their side of the zone, they have to back up even further in order to heal up. And that makes it so my teammates can easily win their lane. Or I just throw it and cover the middle of the map for vision in the bushes, and that works great too. Either way, it worked beautifully, and I got Sandy done really fast. And then it was time for Amber, who was at a measly 700 trophies. It's not bad, but whenever a brawler is lower in trophies, it just takes a lot longer. Some games with Amber went great, but others are just like this one, where I just get ganked over and over again, and I go 1 in 10, and somehow we still win the game. People just don't seem to play the objective here. But anyway, after a bit of that, I finally hit the mastery cap for the day and closed out the evening. It looks like over the next few days, I'll be able to finish the legendary brawlers before the event ends. But finishing every brawler, that dream might be cooked. But I'm this far in and I can't stop trying now. Plus, it's Brawl Talk tomorrow, and maybe, just maybe, they'll announce that they're going to extend the event because the progress has been slower than expected. It's a pipe dream, but there is a chance. Upon waking up, I scurried over to YouTube like every other 12-year-old to check out the new Brawl Talk. And as you guys know, they indeed did not extend the event. Good news is though that we've made great progress towards the 2000% bonus, so maybe we can have that for a day or two. Maybe. Anyway, refocusing on today, I've got my sights set on finishing a few legendary brawlers, starting with the last few thousand points that I need for Amber. Once I got that done, it was on to Meg, who was another low trophy brawler.
I can't emphasize enough how annoying it is to have to push the trophies to get the better mastery points.
But once I started playing Meg, things really took a turn for the worst. This brawler is just bad now. I'm getting diffed by a Poco. But after that crash out, I noticed that I was using a really bad gadget. Her reload toolbox gadget is actually way better for Brawl Arena specifically. It helps with clearing out the bots, taking control of the lane, and doing damage to the tower. Once I figured that out and got her some more trophies, everything was a piece of cake. And after I was done Meg, I was on to Surge, who I already had at Silver 3. He's an absolute beast. You guys already know that. Do I really need to say any more than that? Boom, another easy brawler done. Then I moved on to Chester, who, despite how good he is, has a very long way to go on his mastery track. I don't know why, I've just never really ever played him. But here's a clip of me going from Bronze 1 to Bronze 3 after just one win, and so that was pretty cool to watch. And after that, it felt like the mastery points were endless. We played and won, and it just felt like I was playing for 10 hours. I even got Chester past Gold 2 on the mastery road, and after finally passing 20,000 total mastery points, I hit the cap for the day. Tomorrow, the stage is set for us to be able to complete all of the masteries for the remaining legendary brawlers, which is pretty awesome. So, like every other day before this one, when I got on to play, I started off by completing the mastery that I was previously working on, which was Chester's. That one was pretty easy, and then I got started with Cordelius, where I thought by playing him, I was gonna be walking on water, literally immortal. But as it turns out, this is probably the most amount of matches I've lost with any brawler yet. It's mostly my fault here. I was trying trying to force the squad to play Brawl Arena so we could get done faster, but I was just holding everyone back. Cordelius doesn't scale very well in Brawl Arena, because at a certain point, most brawlers literally just become unkillable with the amount of health that they have. And if you can't kill anyone, that kind of defeats the purpose of even playing Cordelius, because that's all that you're supposed to be doing. And so eventually we swapped over to a proper game mode for him, which was Brawl Ball. And my theory was right. This worked out way better, and really, we just kept slamming Brawl Ball until his mastery was complete. And then it was on to the final legendary brawler, Draco. In some games, Draco felt invincible, and in other games, it felt like I was just getting turbo slammed. Draco is really matchup dependent, and because of that, there were way more losses mixed in here than I would have liked. So eventually I completed his mastery, thus closing out the chapter on the legendary brawlers. And that brings us to the next chapter, which is Close but no cigar. This is where I toggled the sorting of the brawlers from rarity to mastery, and from there it sorts your brawlers based on mastery level. And this is where I finally noticed that I forgot to finish Carl's mastery all those days ago, and so naturally I did that. I'm still really not sure how this one went undetected for so long, but whatever. So the reason I decided to sort the brawlers like this is because I wanted to get as many masteries done as possible, and so I immediately got to work on the next highest brawler, which was Pearl, who was already at gold 1. And once I started playing, I remembered exactly why I had her so high already. And that's because when I was pushing in ranked a while back, she was one of my favorite picks. She's a pretty hard brawler to counter, and I just love the way she plays and the control that you can get on some of those open maps. And so naturally, completing her mastery was no issue at all. And then I started working on Stu, which is where I learned that I am generationally bad at him. And before I had the chance to get any better, I hit the mastery cap for the day. You guys can see now how crucial this 1000% bonus was to my progress. I got done so many brawlers today. But hitting the mastery cap brings us to day 14. Just 2 more days remain in the event, or so I thought. Because on this cursed day, I woke up to a message from Leprasky where he urged me to push as many masteries as I can. I was already going to do that, but I asked him why he would say that. And he replied with the tweet of doom from the developers.
They're actually not extending the event. They're doing
the exact opposite. The tweet basically explains that the mastery rewards ended up being way more than they calculated for, and so they're going to end the event early. My heart was shattered. But today is the actual final day of the event. It's no secret that I'm going to fall severely short of my ambitious goal to master every brawler, but we're going to finish out strong. And at least I was able to get a little bit decent at Stu before finishing out his mastery. I don't know, his mechanics just aren't my specialty. You got to be cracked out on Red Bull or G Fuel or something to play Stu at a high level. Thank God that one was over, because my next brawler, Belle, is honestly one of my best brawlers in the entire game. Except for when you get some bad randoms. Hey, David! We're playing a game, David! Why queue into the game and then just not play and then put the thumbs down? Like, I can't wait to be done with this video! But even with randoms like that, I was still able to power through and finish out Belle's mastery. Next up in line was Buzz. Wasim would be proud of me here because I was actually just going nuclear with him. I was tormenting entire teams in Brawl Arena, and I had the entire server cowering in fear. We won games fast, we got mastery fast, and before I knew it, I was already done. Then it was on to Ollie, who frankly, is just pretty boring to play. Maybe it's me, but I just feel like he's kind of bad. I don't know. I think at one point we had lost 7 matches in a row or something like that. Definitely the most I've lost throughout this entire push. Either way, I did what I do best, and that's slam my head at the game until it budges. And soon enough, I hit the mastery cap for the day before finishing out Ollie's mastery. I did wake up early on the next day just in case the event was still going so I could try and get one last brawler done. When I logged on, the update was already out, and here is me claiming all of my rewards. Obviously, it sucks to fall short of such a big goal. The event just didn't progress as fast as I thought it was going to. But hey, I'm happy that I pushed myself and tried to do something awesome. I'd rather try things and fall short than not try at all.